So the BPT of 5%, do you think that can already be brought back to?
I have made my
4%?
position about that, and I have said that I don't want it rolled back. I'd like to see what fiscal year 2020 and fiscal year 2021 gives, because as a result of what has happened, we were able to actually also close the gap as a result of President Trump's Jobs Act legislation that took away about $68 million from our general fund. So those are the kinds of things that I am really looking at, Heidi, before, and like I have said, I have spoken to many business leaders also, and they are okay with the 5%.
Will that stay at least until 2020, fiscal year 2021, so 2022, there might be a
I would like
consideration.
for it to stay, and I'd like for it to stay forever.
I find no issue with it because, I just got back from the state auditors conference and my jaw dropped because the average salary right now that all state auditors are paying is $50,000. I asked this question, I said, what? Straight out of college, no experience, $50,000. Most of their management team are upwards of $100,000. And
But once that $50,000 salary
I
straight
don't
up,
know why we're
let's-
paying that. I think it's worth it.
the additional bonus on top of the increase that you're now getting because you managed to get through the legislature are concurrence that we're going to adopt the Kerry study.
And for the office with the 10 employees that you have or whatever number you have,
You need 60,000 for the certification or pay, or is that's in the event somebody else gets
No, that's already funded. That's already funded. That's already in our, yeah, that's, if you turn to the schedule, we're talking 60,264 is the certification pay for 1, 2, 3, 6 individuals.
Okay. I have nothing further. We stand in recess until...
Mr. Speaker, if I just may say, you and I both are very passionate. And I'll miss this exchange. Thank you.
I will need an additional $70,000 just to pay for the certification pay for those on my staff that are qualified. It wasn't in my budget request because I didn't ask for it. But if this legislature is going to leave it in the budget, then I will have to comply and provide them with their certification adjustment, and that would cost the office an additional $70,000. So I just point that out. But I can't tell you how wonderful the 5 Auditor 3s that stepped up to take over the management team of the office has been, and how smoothly it has run since then. They've taken over, and I feel so bad that they can't get one. We can't reclassify 3 of them, 4 of them. I mean, because everything, all promotions and increments were suspended during the fiscal year. So I can't do any reclassifications and give them increments as minuscule as it is by comparison. But it is the Office of Public Accountability, and we have to live within the law, and we will live within the law. And if it is provided to us, we'll provide it to them. If it's not, then we'll have to tell them that it's not going to be provided.
Many accolades and celebrations.
Because we're Mexican. What can you try and braid your hair? Can I braid? It might look trashy. No? Well, according to pollsters everywhere. I love some Mary J. Blige.
Me too.
Right?
Hell
I
yeah.
love her. I love her. Buenas Micronesia. I'm Troy Torres.
And I'm Johnny Rosario.
And even though I'm supposed to be on rest, there's. Oh, I thought that thing was. There's. We got some.
Cello.
Thanks, Cello.
I got you.
We got some important stuff to discuss tonight. So welcome to our studios in Tumon, Guam. It is Wednesday, September 4th, 2019. Welcome to our audiences throughout Guam, from Jigo to Malesu, in Rota, Tinians, and Saipan, throughout Micronesia. Thank you very much, our brothers and sisters throughout Micronesia, for joining us throughout the
Even
United
those that
States.
don't really want to join us, but they can't just help themselves.
So welcome, Guam Legislature, to this feed.
And welcome dark alleys and dark places.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Welcome, America.
Welcome snakes.
But snakes and America are not synonymous. That was just a thing. But as my grandma would say, welcome to everybody back there. Thank you for joining us from back there. And from everywhere, those of you serving our country overseas, God bless you. God bless America. Thank you so much for your service and for spending this time to join the Kandit family. The Kandit family is your family. Thank you. And yes,
And I would like to say, before the show started, we had 70 shares.
hey, thank you. Thank you so
thanks,
much.
guys. We couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We very much appreciate that. We're going to get to the subject of Congressman Mike Nicholas, but first there are some other news items to take care of. We're going to start with a happy birthday to our niece, who is not biologically related to us because she's 6 feet tall.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Asia.
We got a snippet of her video because we have copyright issues and stuff.
Why men great till they gotta be great? Woo! I just took a DNA test, turns out I'm 100% that bitch. Even when I'm crying crazy, yeah, I got boy problems, that's the human in me. Bling bling, then I solve them, that's the goddess in me. You could've had a bad bitch, not committal. Help you with your career, just a little. You supposed to hope.
Happy 18th birthday, sweetheart. We love you. And don't forget what I told you. Boys are liars.
Lie, 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 lie. And we also have, so our sister Amy Jackson, her youngest son Chaifi is running for Mr. Little Teen Guam.
Yeah.
No, Mr. Little, not Little Teen.
I don't know what it's called. It's there on the ticket. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me grab the ticket.
We have tickets. Kandit is actually selling some tickets for Chaifi.
Mr. Guam.
Little Mr. Guam, sorry.
Yeah, Little Mr. Guam. It's at Buddy's. Buddy's, September 14 at 8 p.m. or 6 p.m. There's going to be raffle prizes. The tickets are $10. They're good for a whole month after September 14.
You mean like for the drinks or whatever?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, cool, cool. We all remember Buddies. Yeah. Buddies.
Yeah, we hope it's a success. Amy's really working hard at getting this done.
And they always bring good food to the party.
Yeah, Troy will probably make pot roast too.
These are the
so.
Jacksons. They're all about,
Yeah.
people, hospitality, welcoming people. So it'll be fun, guys. Support Chaifi to be Little Mr. Guam. All right, so we have news from the governor's office that the governor has signed the budget into law. Let me just get to that.
Guys, if you guys want to buy stickers, Kandit stickers, just come down to the office or schedule with me and Troy whenever. If we're on the road, we'll take it with us and we can just meet up if you can't come to Tumon. But our office is in Tumon, right across Akanta Mall.
This was released just this afternoon. Governor Leon Guerrero signed Bill 186 into, you can cast to my screen if you want, chillin', into Public Law 35-36, approving the fiscal year 2020 budget. She says, I want to acknowledge that this budget is much more practicable than the first iteration of Bill 186. I want to thank my fiscal discipline team for their persistence, for their persistence and diligence to, my puppy just bit my tit, and diligence to safeguard funding for my policies and agenda. I also want to give credit to the lawmakers and the team at the Office of Finance and Budget who patiently worked with my team there's a typo there, so we can pass a budget that better addresses the needs of the people of Guam, the governor said. Here are the highlights of the budget according to the governor's office. Some key initiatives in the 2020 budget were maintained. However, funding levels for some were reduced from the original budget request from the governor. Nevertheless, the administration is willing in good faith to work within the limits of the FY 2020 budget. You're not just willing, you have to live within the limits. That's the whole purpose of the budget. It's a limitation on spending. Key proposals maintain reviving the rainy day fund to reduce the deficit and save for emergencies. That's BS because there can never be a rainy day fund unless there actually is no deficit. Funding for recruitment of law enforcement officers, sounds like a good thing. Funding for a tax attorney to continue collection of taxes.
It's 50 law enforcement officers.
That's not enough, but that's a good start. That's a good start. So wait, they're gonna fund a tax attorney to continue collection of taxes, even though the governor is forgiving the tax payments of the wealthiest in this community. Son of a bitchy. Funding for the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center inpatient detox program. Funding for the Guam Autism Center. It's good. Funding for the renovation of Simon Sanchez High School. I'd like to know more about that because I didn't see any $100 million anything in the budget. I wonder what they mean by that. Authorization for a Competitive Wage Act study. That's good news for GovGuam workers. Authorization for the Department of Revenue and Taxation's real property tax triennial assessment. All that means is everyone's property taxes are going to go up, and Bank of Guam gets to write it off as part of their to net off their payment of gross receipts tax. Appropriation for the medical cannabis program. Reinstatement of employee increments. You know what's missing from this list?
What?
War claims.
Of course.
They were so fast about war claims, but they left it out of the budget. The past 8 months, the governor continues, while short, should show the legislature that my administration will be able to accomplish its goals even with these cuts to the executive budget. What cuts to the executive budget? The budget is $100 million more than... Jesus Christ. When we do...
Hey,
freaking liars,
never
man.
enough. Mampus Pat that she's greedy.
Lo Mampus Pat says she's greedy. Hey, this Lou, she's greedy, Pat.
She want it all.
Hey, and I'm not one to say bad things about people, because I'm a Christian. But I went to mass and I saw Father Polly last night, and he was saying, don't judge another, because the log in your eye, Pat. However, no Mampus Pat says she's greedy.
Hey, I don't want to talk about it right
It's
now.
the truth.
It's making my blood boil.
Did Dr. Lazama say about anything about your blood pressure?
It's boiling.
When we do, I hope that the accusatory and political rhetoric I just saw that right now. Will finally take a back seat to a collaborative environment. Fat fucking chance. And hopefully a year from now, the legislature will trust that just as it has done its duty to appropriate funds, I will do mine to govern. Hey, lady, the legislature can trust you all it wants. The people don't fucking trust you. You're so funny. Oh my God, the governor's so funny. We should put her on a stand-up or something. But that wasn't the only bill that was signed into law by the governor today. In another press release, I swear to God, puppy, better start biting my tit. Can you? Because I sound like Tello.
New laws promote social welfare and saves GIAA millions. Bill signed. Bill 140-35 by Senator Josen Augustine authorizes GIAA to refund all or portion of its outstanding general revenue bonds. The bill is now Public Law 35-33. Bill 135-35 by Senator Mary Torres permits more than 6 foster children per foster home. This bill is now public.
Yay.
Public Law 35-34. Bill 159-35 by Senator Therese Terlahi increases the capacity of occupancy at emergency and temporary shelters for children placed under protective custody.
Yay.
This bill is now Public Law 35-35. Bill 73-35 by Senator Amanda Shelton reduces the required number of council members in the Guam Council of Senior Citizens from 17 to 9. This bill is now Public Law 3531.
My God, what kind of freaking public law is that?
It's from Shelton.
Stellar accomplishment, Senator. Stellar. You
I
did
think-
some good for the people.
No,
there.
I think they were too busy planning.
Their Weight Watchers plan?
Yeah. Bill 126-35 by Senator Mary Torres makes exceptions for homeless individuals in obtaining a Guam identification card. The bill is now Public Law 35-32.
I'm glad that
Thank
is.
you, Senator Mary Torres.
Looking out for the
I mean,
poor.
Governor.
You ever wonder, like, you want to be a fly on the wall in, like, the karaoke bars or whatever that those political operatives are, and they work at the legislature, and every time we say something like that, they're like, they're like, those fucking druggies, what do they know? We're the ones who are governing this island.
They had it all planned out a week prior, and
Lost him up.
this is what they came up with. With the ability to refund a portion of their bonds, the airport authority will be able to use the money as leverage for over $100 million in grant funding. I'm pleased that Senator San Augustine worked with the airport officials to make this work. Reducing the number of members to the Guam Council or senior citizens not only makes it more manageable to provide services for our manumco. I don't get that.
Yeah,
How do you go from
you can-
17 to 9?
You can skip that, Chetchula. That's useless.
Okay. She appreciates Shelton's devotion to senior citizens. Thanks for taking more people off their board or whatever that thing's for. You make sense. That is so. They need to do the legislature. That's what they need to do.
No shit.
I also want to commend Senator Torres and Terlahi for always keeping the interests of our children in mind, because she forgot about them. You got her back. Bills 135-30 and 159-35 go a long way in improving the lives of foster children. And Bill 126-35 serves as a tool to help homeless people and youth reintegrate into society. I am proud to sign these measures that address the needs of the most vulnerable in our society. As a mother and grandmother, there's nothing more important to me than the safety and protection of all our children and our people.
God. Jesus Christ. I mean, I know, guys, but fair is fair. We have to give them their 3 minutes of bullshit, so they can't say that we didn't ever promote what they were saying or ever read their shit, even though they won't take interviews from us. The next thing, we have some happy news to report. So, earlier today, we had a wonderful visit by Mr. Lebowski.
Yes.
He's on Guam.
Great seeing you.
Yeah, it was great seeing. Ow, fucking gremlin, man. And he, the significance of him being on Guam, not only because he's a great guy, and this is his
Guam
home,
is his home, and
Yeah.
he loves Guam.
not just because of that, but because Senator Therese Terlahi did say that she was going to hold a roundtable hearing on the effects of the Medical Malpractice Mandatory Arbitration Act. That's the law that basically has made it impossible for working people, the poor, to take any action against doctors who screw up. Right now, there's no accountability. You know, there's nothing that holds them to the fire. That says if they mess up, you know, that they're gonna get in trouble like everybody else. You know, there are consequences that we all face when we mess up.
They take an oath. They take an oath.
What's
when-
it called? Hippocratic, right?
Yes, and they swear to save lives, to do what the best they can, to do everything they can to save lives. And
Well, the best that our laws do is provide a Guam Board of Medical Examiners. And as we've seen in the case of Asher Dean Lebowski, the law has failed Asher Dean Lebowski and that family. And Mr. Lebowski, his father, is fighting alongside with other families to change the laws so that it works on the side of the people, as these laws were intended to be. In the legislative findings and intent of these laws, we see very clearly that these laws are supposed to be shaped to protect patients and protect families and not to protect doctors from whatever. And so Senator Therese Terlahi said that she would take up this issue on a roundtable discussion. So did Speaker Tina Munya Barnes.
and she said it, I believe, in August, that she wouldn't be able to do anything until after the budget has passed.
Yes, so now the budget's passed. And she also said she didn't want to do anything without Mr. Lebowski being on Guam. So now the budget's passed. Now Mr. Lebowski's on Guam. And as of about 4:50 p.m. today, we got confirmation from Senator Therese Terlahi's office that they are trying to schedule the roundtable hearing. So we're going to get a date and time for that. And so that's moving forward. Thankfully, at least one senator is keeping to their word about
Yes.
this. But also, let's not forget that Senator Tello Taitigui has been working on legislation, and let's see how that goes as well. We're very excited about that. And we're thankful that Senator Taitigui has engaged in this process the way she has. It's obviously something that she cares about.
And thankful for Mr. Lebowski to bringing a lot of this to light.
He
you
is
know?
the guy. He is the man.
He is
you know?
fighting hard. If you want anybody on your side, it's Mr. Lebowski.
And I love his way with words, too. If you ever meet the guy,
He
you'll
says, you know, when I met Troy and he told me it's okay for me to cuss, to swear, I kind of thought to myself, something's wrong with this.
I don't know about this Kandit. I'm not sure. But I'm going to take a risk. So he took a risk with us, and he's been our friend ever since.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
thank you, Mr. Lebowski. So so that's happening. We reached out to the Speaker's office regarding that issue, regarding to get any confirmation that the Speaker has any plan, any financial plan to address the CMS deficiencies at Guam Memorial Hospital, and to ask for comments on this whole Mike St. Nicholas debacle. They only responded to the Mike St. Nicholas stuff. They did not respond
To anything else.
so the Speaker made a whole news release about how she was calling for a roundtable, but now silence. And on the CMS violations, dead silence. We sent that email to them, I want to say a week ago, and to the governor's office as well. To the governor's office's credit, Janela Carrera has been working with Lillian Posadas, who is the administrator of Guam Memorial Hospital, in getting a response to us on the measures that GMH is taking to mitigate the CMS concerns. And I asked specifically whether that's going to include a financial plan, because what Senator Therese Terlahi was arguing about on the floor of the legislature was a budget for
These upgrades
yeah, the
that are
construction,
badly needed to keep our hospital running.
including basically a new electrical circuitry throughout the hospital. If you think about that, the fact that $17 million is needed just to upgrade the electrical panel and you know all the circuits throughout the hospital means that stuff
Needs to be done.
that's the ability for machines to operate when lives need
Not
to be
only
saved.
that, Troy, it can short and the hospital can catch fire.
Oh, that would be. I hope that would be so sad. You know, but sadly, a lot of times it takes something like that for our leaders to react.
Yeah, we have a reactionary legislature, right? They react. They don't act. They react.
They're very good chemists, and Pat. They're like the doctors. But I asked Dr. Lizama, and he said, "No, they're not smart enough, Pat, and they're not smart enough now to be doctors. They're not like that."
How about si Marsh Titano?
You know, she's a doctor. She's a PhD.
Oh,
I don't even know what that means. It's a physical development. Physical development. Ooh, 90 don't. Annie.
Dr. Quack.
This fucking dog keeps biting my tit like I have milk to give it.
Maybe he's hungry.
I just fed it.
Well, go put her down because you're gonna spoil her. You know, the old people, they say, feed the baby, burp the baby, change the pamper, put it back.
Yeah, but what the baby keeps crying.
Let her cry for 2 minutes.
Oh no, Chelo, I'm going to CPS.
Are we done with that, Chelo?
Yeah, now we're gonna play
GPA?
Yeah. So earlier today on Ray Gibson's show, Simon Sanchez was on bamboozling the people with the big words about why they need to spend $600 million on a new power system, a new power generation plant at Ukuru or Tengisin or whatever it's called. And this is something that's been in the works for years. And for years, even Governor Calvo was very much opposed to this whole, why are we going to spend that much money on a power plant that uses liquefied natural gas, which is antiquated fuel system. It's just an antiquated way of delivering electricity. And it's also bad for the environment, all that. It's expensive too. Maybe not as expensive as the fossil fuels we're using right now, but still expensive. And if there was a way to get everyone off of the grid and to make power bills such like a thing of the past, because we can use renewable sources like solar power, then why not go that route? So Simon Sanchez on Ray Gibson's show explains every reason why we need to go with this $600 million contract. And then Senator Clint Ridgell gets on with Ray Gibson, and he was quite feisty. Let's hear what. Where fan is that? Oh, there. It's on the Facebook.
It's on the Facebook.
So 14504.
How you doing there?
Good.
So tell me, what's your side of the story from last night? I already talked to Simon.
We can
Sure.
pass the
My
screen.
side is, why are we issuing a huge contract to a company that was in charge of the Cabras 4 power plant when it exploded, and who is being sued for that explosion? So last night I was there to formally register those comments. They invited me. They said, please come and give us your comments. And so I came. I formally registered those comments in my opposition, and then it sort of turned into, they reversed it on me and turned it into an oversight hearing on me. And so eventually I said, look, I'm not here to have an oversight hearing on me, and I'm not here for me to be questioned about this contract. I was here to submit my comments, and so I left.
Did you get the feeling like, what's the name of that guy on Star Wars, looks like a walrus, that says, it's a trap, it's a trap? Did you feel that you got...
Joanne Brown.
Yeah, that meme is true. Yes, I did.
You felt like you were lured in with the promises of conversation and sweet reconciliation?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I was asked to be there. That's how I felt. I was asked to be there and participate, so I did. I showed up in good faith, gave my comments in good faith, registered my objection in good faith, and then it sort of got flipped around and turned into questioning me about how much do I know about this particular contract, and how much do I know about this, and how much do I know. So the tone completely changed, and I still stuck around for quite a bit of it. It got heated. There was a lot of back and forth, and eventually I saw, look, this isn't going anywhere. We're going in circles. I'm not here to get into an argument. I'm not here to be questioned, and this is not an oversight hearing on me. We have questions, but so with that, I left. I felt it was becoming unproductive.
There was I don't know how much of this was in the language. I mean, it might have felt like they were going to be in for some trouble seeing you. I don't know when your press release went out yesterday, but referring to this contract now with KEPCO, with you saying something is not right here, this whole deal smells foul. I do not believe the issue is moot. I mean, it sort of sounds like there was a controversy that was like you were warpathing already, and maybe they sensed that and acted accordingly.
I don't know. I mean, so I'm not sure what was the question.
Well, the question is, I mean, was there some kind of a hostile intent? I mean, it's one thing to say, well, I've got some questions about this agreement with KEPCO, but making in this case kind of a distinction. GPA compensated $125 million. Now we're spending $120. Something's not right here.
So they hadn't seen the press release yet, but I think they didn't like my objection. All they know is the statements on my objection, the letter that I formally sent to them objecting.
Yeah.
And so in the letter, I do say, why are we issuing these guys this contract when they're honestly, you know what I think it is? I think they were trying to change the narrative and spin this whole thing so it becomes about them and me fighting and arguing and a young senator storming out, when really the issue is, why are we awarding a contract to a company that is being sued for blowing up Cabras 4?
Well, they're being sued because a claim was made. Now the insurance company, I mean, it's their prerogative, needs to figure out how to recover that.
Well, the insurance company did their own investigation according to the lawsuit documents that I included in the email. The insurance company conducted their own investigation, and in their investigation, they found that KEWP was at fault. And so in that, there's a whole bunch of details in there. Part of the things that they say is that KEWP had a manager that's supposed to be on call 24 hours, 24/7.
Sure, who they couldn't find.
As per the contract, and when there were problems with the generator that the GPA employees started to notice, they couldn't get a hold of the KEWP guy. So that's one of the things. But there's a whole number of things that they're suing them for gross negligence on it. And even aside from that, I mean, who was managing? Their contract was literally for operations, management, and maintenance of the Cabot 4 power plant that blew up.
Which they subbed out.
Yes, I believe they subbed out the maintenance. But, I mean, their whole thing is they're supposed to oversee the maintenance. That's
Right.
why that's their job. They're supposed to oversee the maintenance, oversee the operations, and so they were in charge of it. Something happened, it blew up. I mean, and this goes back to, that's why in the oversight hearing that I held, I asked Chairman Joey Duenas, what was the cause? We've been asking what's the cause, and they've been saying, oh, it's moot because we got paid already from the insurance company. Well, the insurance company doesn't think it's moot because they're suing KEWP because they say it's KEWP's fault.
Oh, well, that's standard, though. I mean, you're going to go after the guys. You made a claim on something, and now you're going to try to get that money back. You got to satisfy your shareholders. That's just part of the diligence.
Well, no, I mean, it is, but it's only if they have some finding that someone else is at fault for it.
Right. No, listen, not disagreeing. I mean, I'm just understanding what I'm sure the insurance company's mission is going to be here, and they are, like anything else, going to put together a case that says that KEPCO was negligent in their responsibilities, and it cost them $125 million. KEPCO, you're big enough guys here. Either give me about $125 million back, or let's have a settlement conversation. That's lawyers do that.
Sure. To be clear, it's KWP, and they're partnered with KEPCO on this. It's not actually KEPCO.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
They partnered with KEPCO, KWP.
I appreciate the clarification. I guess we got to worry about what's going to happen next. You're still going to have an oversight hearing on the 10th, correct?
Yes, absolutely, because I still want to know what the KEWP's role in this, and that's something they haven't been able to answer. So I just want to go back real quick, and I know you're saying, this is what lawyers do, this is what insurance companies do, it's standard. It's not always standard. Not if the insurance company doesn't feel that someone else is truly at fault for it. If they felt it was just, okay, this is something we insured, it broke, no one's at fault for it, we pay out the claim. But if they feel someone else is at fault for it, they will go after and sue them for whatever fault they believe that they have. So, in addition to that, in their lawsuit, they talk about how GPA initially tried to initiate discussions with KEWP to come to some sort of settlement. So that indicates to me that GPA must have thought KEWP was at some sort of fault.
Sure.
They initiated some sort of discussions with KEWP, but they said that KEWP didn't show up to their meetings that they were supposed to have. So instead, GPA said, okay, we'll go file an insurance claim. That's actually what's standard, is when a company like GPA, for example.
Clint, I'm sorry, I've got the news coming up, Clint. So I'm gonna have to break away from the conversation. We'll just wait and see what happens when the other shoes drop. I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Okay, so.
All right, buddy. Beer Summit.
So that was the conversation that Senator Clint Ridgell had with my cousin Ray Gibson earlier this morning on The Point. You can catch Cousin Ray from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 93.3 on the FM dial. Always very informative. It's my favorite morning show.
Me too.
And then I switch over to Andrea Pellicani after that.
Yeah, he said hi to me this morning.
Oh, Cousin Ray?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? I wasn't awake. So, I slept at 5. It's this lesbian spirosis that I have. So Guam Power Authority has its own response.
For immediate release, new power plant offers affordable, reliable, environmentally responsible energy. Guam ratepayers will soon see lower overall energy costs and increased reliability through the new Ukadu power plant, stated Joseph T. Duenas, chairman. The 2022 plant commissioning is a key milestone in the island's integrated resource plan, paving the way for cleaner, greener, and more affordable energy. You know, this is 3 pages long, right?
Is it worth it?
I don't.
Oh, that's a lot of details. You can cast on my screen so people can see what these details are.
The Consolidated Commission on Utilities approved the GPA's recommendation to approve an energy conversion agreement contracting Korea Electric Power Company, KEPCO, to finance, build, and operate a 198 megawatt combined cycle power plant in Ukuru Derido. Ownership and operation of the plant will transfer to GPA at the end of the 25-year contract.
So it says, this is about the power bill is probably the most important part. The new dual fuel power plant is projected to lower the total average residential power bill by 7.95%. Hold on. Let's get the calculator out.
I thought they said 65%.
That's 65. Well, they said that it's going to lower the cost of fuel, which is 65% of our cost. This is the first time we're seeing this 7.95%. Well, actually, no. They go on to say all other rate classes would also benefit from similar reductions in their power bill, and if GPA is permitted to use liquid natural gas instead of ultra-low sulfur diesel, fucking John Troy, diesel as a fuel source, average residential power bills are projected to be lower by 21.15% with similar savings for all other rate classes. Actually, that sounds like a substantial decrease. So if
My power bill is $500 a month.
If your power bill is $500 a month times 78.85, your power bill is reduced by $100, $394.25. That's something, actually. Let's give it to them. Let's hand it to them in that regard. If it comes true, these potential savings are not attainable unless GPA is first allowed to enter into an ECA with KEPCO, stated CCU Commissioner Simon Sanchez. KEPCO is a company whose total assets are worth over $500 million. Who cares? With this ECA, all the risks are borne by the contractor, mentioned CCU Commissioner Michael Mtiako. The ECA protects the ratepayer via the liquidated damages within the bid guarantee under the performance bond and blah, 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 something else in Chinese. Blah, 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 blah. You can read that news release if you want. We'll post it on Kandit. There was another news release that came in from Senator Regine Bisco-Lee, and we'll briefly touch on that in our final segment regarding Congressman Mike St. Nicholas, but she did send out a news release on its own regarding higher compensation for work claim injuries. And according to her, you can cast my screen again, Lee seeks higher benefits for injured workers after decades of waiting. Continuing with her commitment to place public policy on the side of working people, Senator Regine Bisco-Lee proposed a measure that would update Guam's workers' compensation rates after more than 30 years of stagnation. After nearly a full year of work, consultation, and drafting, the measure, introduced as Bill number 200, received input from attorneys, labor advocates, businesses, and insurers prior to introduction. She says this measure will deliver the first meaningful raise in 3 decades for workers injured on the job and for families of those whose injury results in death. I accept this measure won't make everyone happy, and I remain open to compromise, but we cannot accept the status quo any longer. And so here, here's a chart of the current rates and the proposed rates, and that is a substantial difference. So for weekly disability, currently the minimum is $150, maximum is $250. The bill proposes to raise that to minimum $310 and a maximum of $520 for serious permanent disfigurement, from $10,000 to $25,000 for funeral expenses, which this does update the times, from $3,600 to $7,435. We have a friend who works in the funeral business, and she today in our chat room she says, "Guys, people are dying to see me today." Sorry, just. Anyway, so this chart sheet provides very informative, actually. Okay, all right. good job, Senator Lee. We have to be fair about the news that we report, and thank you for providing this information. Oh, lifetime cap for injury or death. Injury, death, $100,000. Currently, disability, partial disability, $100,000. That becomes raised in her bill to $206,570 for both categories. Do you have anything to say about any of that? No? We're going to go on a break, and when we come back, our top story.
Ain't that really something?
Exactly, but I just thought it was really horrible this morning listening to Patty's show and hearing, I'm not going to call the caller out, but hearing this guy, just ludicrously throw her out when I know for a fact, because I was actually with JP at the time, when she was concerned about how his revelations might impact, question to him was, "Are you okay?" And then she supported him in his efforts.
Knowing this was discussed yesterday on my program and other programs, you also unfortunately bring this upon Senator Amanda Shelton's office, and we have not sent her any questions. Have you spoken to her about your plan of action? And
No. I've pretty much kept my work with Senator Shelton separate. She knows nothing about this. This really caught her off guard.
But also with this, what if that was my son in those pictures? What if that was your son in those pictures? All of this hoopla, having an affair, up the ass, all of that. You know what? Our governor, Leon Guerrero, has proven her insufficiencies in helping the people of Guam. She's ran away from us, asking questions. Why do these rich people get their taxes silenced? They don't have to pay, or they only have to pay a fraction of it, and then they get major contracts. She has not helped the children who can't afford uniforms.
I know.
I just want to apologize. I don't mean to disrespect anybody, especially the congressman. I wanted this, but I'm angry. I'm angry because of the bullshit.
Hey, imagine how the congressman feels.
The families, the wife. Imagine even John Paul's edits. He wrote his comment, and then he wants to edit it and put someone's husband's name there. That man, that husband,
It's serviceman, right?
he is a veteran. You just shamed him. You think this is a joke? People's lives are in danger.
Right on.
I hope the feds come in there and fucking chew some ass. I hope they freaking worry if they dot their I and cross their T's.
So the congressman.
But I knew this from the get-go. Even the person that came here telling me we need to move on this and get JP on our show. Fuck you. I am completely ashamed with our leaders.
For as many accolades and celebrations.
So last night, there was a mic drop. For immediate release, St. Nicholas responds to allegations. I would like to thank the people of Guam for their patience and support during this process. Due to the Labor Day weekend and my return from visiting troops overseas on Sunday, we required additional time to consult with federal agents. These allegations are stemming from a number of various local government officials who are currently under an active FBI investigation that was initiated in December or January. During this period, my office was contacted and threatened to take certain actions in order to avoid political attacks. We refused, and I immediately engaged the FBI. The investigation is ongoing to include recent actions taken against me and my family these past several days. As to the nature of the recent allegations in local media, my office maintains absolute professionalism, and we welcome any formal complaints to be filed as we trust the outcome of the federal due process system will reveal that none of these have any basis. Local politics is dirty. We trust the federal system and welcome anyone who wishes to engage us on those terms. We remain focused on our work to include the planned introduction of organic amendments, which we believe further precipitated these attacks. We will not be deterred by dirty local politics. We serve the people, and we will never sway from the work that we need to do to strengthen our island. My family and I, and my staff and their families are not only solid in the face of this, but absolutely resolute to continue the mission the people of Guam have entrusted us with, to build a responsible Guam. God bless Guam, and God bless America.
So, a beautiful statement from the congressman. Absolute mic drop. You're right. Who did you build this one, or did Cello build it?
I built it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I chose a picture.
It's like, nigga. Mic drop indeed. Because I swear to God, none of us saw that one coming. We were like, oh, maybe he's going to deny all of the whatever and like say that it wasn't
No,
true.
I think Guam made the right decision with that, with Congressman Nicholas. So I just would like to say that there's a reason why things panned out the way they did. And he probably saw right through people below him, or not even below him, the people that were working with him at the time.
People he trusted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you know, it's always sad when you open your door and you let somebody in, whether they're how ugly they are inside, what you know, you open your door to them and you tell them it doesn't matter what color your blood is. We accept you. And then they turn around and it's sad.
They stab you right in the back, chilling, you know?
Yeah.
But luckily,
I called it, Chalo. Hey. Karaoke.
No, well, luckily, Congressman Mike Nicholas is stronger than that. And his family is stronger than that. And his staff is, let's not forget his staff as well. Because they've been under the gun since Saturday when all of this started to come out and all this ugliness started. Can I borrow the...
Sure.
Thank you. All of this ugliness started to come out. And so Kandit News has received a little bit of criticism regarding our...
With hardly any teeth. You know, there's no bite.
It was like a cowardly dick.
Yeah. You know when the bark is bigger than the bite? This one didn't really have much teeth.
So we got a little bit of criticism for not trashing Congressman Nicholas like we've trashed other political figures.
We got criticism because they said Kandit is mum. We were never mum. We stated from the get-go.
We were not going to dignify this story without any kind of substantiation behind the allegations, with some kind of proof or a criminal complaint filed with the bona fide law enforcement authority. And none of that came. And we have a presentation to make to you about that. But I want
our platform was not going to be used without proof.
I want to directly address two of the criticisms. One is that personally I've been silent. I don't know what that means exactly. On this, or more silent on this issue than I have on others. Let me just address that by saying I ain't got no boss here at Kandit News. Neither does Johnny. Neither does Carlos. Neither does Eric. We do what we want to do. And if we want to trash a political opponent because we not only have uncovered that they are corrupt, that they use people, that they're liars, hey, by all means, we're going to do that. We're going to do that because, well, hey, we can. And if we want to reserve any trashing of an upstanding person like Mike Nicholas, hey, Chalu, we're going to reserve it because we feel that he doesn't deserve to be trashed. And we're not going to go into all this fodder and this ugliness, especially without any kind of substantiation of these charges. And furthermore, to the charge that, or to the criticism that we're being paid by Congressman Nicholas to be on his side, no, we're not. No, we're not. Let me just remind everyone that I trashed Governor Eddie Calvo for absolutely free. Hey, remember when we were so hateful of Ray Tenorio, and on the night of the primary election, we said, hey, whoever wins the primary, don't you get your hands dirty in anything. Hey, we got this, free of charge, no charge. We'll fight this fight for you. You know, we didn't get paid by the Lou campaign to do anything. Hey, she didn't even fucking say thank you, for Christ's sake. So
exactly.
So, no one's paying us for shit. As a matter of fact, I wish we got a big fat freaking check from Congressman Nicholas. I'd be like, invoice that motherfucker, man. But you were glad to do this out of a sense of integrity. That's all it really is. So
I think we made the right choice that night. We were being, they tried to give us a sense of urgency.
I just want to say that we weren't mum, okay? We're not dumb, and you're gross.
I don't know if people heard that. You think they heard that?
They heard it, Jello. They heard it.
And me personally, I just want to say, all of this is from my mom and my dad.
Good mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
Good mom and dad.
Mom and dad. Okay, hair and all. Mom and dad.
Mine's from my grandma. I love that lady. And my mom and dad, of course. And my brother, who used to beat me up because I liked My Little Pony. So, on to the meat of the news.
But and I also want to state, we've been working very hard in uncovering and helping people have a voice. So that doesn't mean you're just going to come on here just because you want to trash somebody and just trash somebody.
We have to not like the person first.
You're not the owner of this company.
Yeah. The people.
Yes.
The people are the owners of this company. And the only reason we're successful is because, well, you demand truth and sincerity, and we haven't failed you on that.
And Kandit gave them their 15 minutes of fame. Okay? And that's all you're going to get. Remember, one mistake, it's an accident. The second mistake, it's our fault. And this one was my fault.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Shut up. It was not your fault. She's so hard on herself. Did you hear her apologizing for being passionate? I said, Chella, why'd you apologize? She said, because, I raised my voice. So you do that all the time.
Because I don't want
apologies.
I don't want my anger, because I am angry. I can handle the underworld, the life that I came from, but I cannot handle the politics. No wonder why people look really old, Jello. They need to retire.
But you know what, Jello? The politicians, they cannot handle you. They cannot handle you. They're like, she's going to beat me up. So the news that we have to report tonight is that, according to very well-placed federal sources, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, so Congressman Mike Nicholas talked about, in his statement, very clear, that he reported the extortion and blackmail of him and his office, or the attempted extortion and blackmail of him and his office. That is, I want to make it abundantly clear, it's one thing to extort or blackmail you or me or, any other person. To extort or blackmail a member of Congress is quite another thing. And so he told us, he told the people of Guam in his statement that he was aware of these efforts to use political babrillas against him, and that there was a price leveraged over him, and he did the right thing, and he went to the FBI. So we have been able to confirm that the targets of the FBI investigation include, but are not necessarily limited to, John Paul Manuel and Carlo Branch, the executive director of the Guam legislature. And we'll get to some comments we got from members of the 35th Guam legislature after we present this. It's not every day that Kandit produces written work. And so in a collaborative effort among the owners of this company, Carlos Pangilinan, Johnny Rosario, Eric Rosario, and myself, we've prepared the following, and we can go to the graphics, Chelu, and come off our screen. This is titled "Light the Way to the Political Dumpster, Mr. Cynicalist." Bravo. Wouldn't we all feel there was a bit more justice in this world if we had honest leaders? If they cared about the poor and spoke up for the voiceless? if they did what they said and said what they did. Politics in Guam has been shrouded by doubt, lies, soap opera drama, and dog-eat-dog greed since the dawn of self-government. Every election brings a new, clever scheme to take down an opponent. The years in between are time sands of conduct and public service, each move added to the dossiers compiled in dark rooms guarded by the seediest characters in society, until the hourglass runs out of sand. A political scandal has gripped our island since last weekend. It has intrigued the pundits, emboldened the corrupt, and arrested our attention from what really matters. On Saturday, longtime confidant of Congressman Mike Nicholas, John Paul Manuel, made allegations of a government-funded affair carried on by his former boss. As of the writing of this story, no one has offered any proof to substantiate either the affair or, more importantly, the improper use of tax or campaign money. To be clear, Kandit doesn't give two rats' asses about an affair. Any affair, including any affairs that any of us have. To business, mommy. However, the allegations of the criminal use of taxpayer money and federal campaign funds are quite hefty. It's why we are stunned the person making the allegations conveniently has refused to report these supposed crimes to a bona fide law enforcement authority. Several local media agencies rolled out the red carpet to create the J.P. Manuel Forum to destroy Mike Nicholas. The reporters and hosts decorated the political amphitheater with hyperbole, innuendo, and the best tears a crocodile could shed. When you pull down the veneer of the stage, you'll find that the group of violins is an orchestra of crickets playing when we get to the heart of this scandal. Where is the proof of illegal activity? Where is the criminal complaint to the Federal Bureau of Investigation? Tadzat, Nihafafet. Despite the premature and unprofessional coverage by the media of one unsubstantiated side of the story predicated upon the ugly story of an affair that has nothing to do with the price of gas at Mobil or the cost of milk at Payless, the alleger could produce nothing but hotel receipts in his charges that the congressman improperly used funds. Journalist Gaynor Delano from the Guam Daily Post specifically asked him whether he would at least file an ethics complaint with the U.S. House of Representatives. He said he wouldn't, according to her story. Why not? If this were true, Mr. Manuel also is exposed to criminal liability, misprison of a felony, if he fails to report the alleged crimes. Nearly every media organization on this island ignored this one factoid that would lend these allegations any kind of credibility. The absence of this complaint did not deter the political vultures from descending on what they believed to be Mr. Nicholas's political corpse. Speaker Tina Munya Barnes couldn't even wait for the political medical examiner's determination of death before she swooped in to steal credit again for war claims. Senator Regine Bisco-Lee, who is rumored to be mounting a challenge to Mr. Nicholas in the next election, has been a busy little bee since the scandal started. First, she suddenly is ready to report out the minimum wage bill. Today, she wants to finally do something about the rate of compensation for work injury claims. The governor even took to the airwaves, brushing off her self-sustained political injuries from the past 8 months of one bad decision after another, and started talking about how she's ready to appoint a successor to Mr. Nicholas. They talked about him like they were done with him. They disregarded him as though the people had forsaken him. But we hadn't, and our consciences are clearer for it. Up until last evening, no one had filed anything with the FBI, or so we thought. Enter Congressman Mike Nicholas, like David on a political landscape governed forever by Goliath. In one very succinct statement to the public, not only did he outright deny the allegations, he told us all that someone did indeed engage the FBI. He did, back in January. And it was because the same people trying to feed on his wounded political body tried to extort and blackmail him. Extorting and blackmailing a member of Congress are federal felonies. And so far in this story of political intrigue, only one side of it has any standing for a story in the halls of journalism. Congressman Nicholas is the only person in this story who has filed anything with a bona fide law enforcement authority, and he did so well before this public debacle started. It was the sling stone to the head. The congressman exposed the ugliest and most sinister behemoth of this society, the political trash that has controlled this island for far too long. Kandit will help him to take out the trash. There aren't too many hours in the day. When the sun rises, its rays of light illuminate the covered paths and alleys where the monsters could only roam without the naked light that exposes them. If we ever want our children to dream again without the monsters lurking, then we have to be warriors of the truth and soldiers of the light. We have to meet the monsters where they hide and slay them from our reality so that when the sun sets on our time, no one will ever have to be afraid of the dark again. So, we're very proud of Congressman Mike Nicholas for reporting crimes back when he did. It was the right thing to do. And thankfully, he did it because this day was coming, and he knew it. Smart guy.
Very smart guy.
Smart guy. And he had this ace up his sleeve.
Hold on to your pocketbooks and hold on to your pants, guys.
Sorry. Yeah. So we asked the Guam legislature. There's very specific people involved in this effort. Now, granted, we don't know exactly who is involved in the political conspiracy against Mike Nicholas. We can surmise. We have some opinions.
You know, like here's a wall. They went like this. Look. Yeah, Chelo. That's what they did. We know them because they went like this.
Son of a bitch. Mm-hmm. You know, in a political war, the best device to use is a nuclear bomb. You don't try to do a fucking sniper shot because ain't no one that good. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you're gonna destroy something,
when you destroy something, you let them know you're coming.
It scares them a little, you know. Mm-hmm. So we did receive. Well, let me tell you the questions that we asked. Speaker Tina Munya Barnes, mm-hmm. Senator Regine Bisco-Lee, Senator Kelly Marsh-Titano, and Senator Amanda Shelton.
And Clint Rogel.
And Senator Clint Rogel.
Yes.
Now, we asked Senator Clint Rogel the questions not because we believe he was part of anything, but because we wanted to know, it was a little experiment. How would his answers differ from the other people's answers? Because we all know how they were going to answer these questions, yeah. Right? And Johnny called it. She was right.
So the people that we didn't receive answers from is Shelton
and Titano. So these were the questions that we asked. Did either of you either attempt to extort or blackmail Congressman Mike Nicholas in December 2018 or January 2019? If so, why did you do this? What was your goal? From the Speaker and from Senator Shelton, they both answered no.
No, not Shelton.
I'm sorry, Lee. Senator Lee
mm-hmm.
and the Speaker, they both answered just no.
No.
What did Senator Clint Rogel respond?
He said, I have never attempted to extort or blackmail the congressman.
Have either of you been questioned or deposed by the Federal Bureau of Investigation regarding any such investigation into the attempted extortion or blackmail of the congressman? If so, please provide information as to the nature of the questions and the information given. From the Speaker and from Senator Lee, the answers both were no. From Senator Rogel?
I have never been questioned or deposed by the FBI.
Were any of you aware of the decision by J.P. Manuel to make public accusations against the congressman prior to this past Saturday? From the Speaker and Senator Lee, the answers were no.
Senator Rigel, I was not aware.
Were any of you involved in planning the attacks against the congressman? From the Speaker and Senator Lee, the answer is no.
Senator Rigel says, I was not involved.
Very definitive.
Mm-hmm.
Was Carlo Branch involved in this effort? From the Speaker and Senator Lee, the answer is no.
Check their answer, I think.
Oh, not to my knowledge or something, right? Let me see. Sorry. Here we go. So the Speaker says, I'm not Mr. Branch, not to my knowledge. A little feisty there. A little feisty. But and you're probably getting super irritated with the questions. Senator Lee, gotta hand it to her. She was very professional with her comments. She said, yeah, she just answered them, and she even said "si juice mossy" at the end. She said, "Not that I am aware." Were any other members of your what did Senator Rigel say?
Not to my knowledge.
Were any? They all answered that they aren't really sure. Were any other members of your staff involved in this effort? From Senator Lee, not that I am aware. We asked, have you asked them? And she didn't answer that question. From the Speaker, hang on. The Speaker says, more definitive, no, I stand by my staff. What is Senator
Rigel says, I have absolutely zero reason to believe that any members of my staff would ever be involved in any effort to extort, blackmail, or besmirch the congressman.
Was the decision to forge ahead with the local war claims effort in the wake of the accusations made to take advantage of the political situation? The Speaker says, Troy, Bill 181 has always been, I think that's supposed to be, has always been about doing right by our greatest generation, so no. Senator Lee says, hold on. I am not the author of this bill and made no such decision. She's like, Tina, you're on your own with that, girl.
Senator Rigel says, not to my knowledge.
Why did the minimum wage bill only get reported out in the wake of this political scandal? So Senator Lee says, I reported the minimum wage bill out of my committee the day after Labor Day in honor of Guam's workers. This bill and other measures I will be reporting out or introducing in the coming days are a part of a legislative package intended to address the needs of Guam's working families. So she did follow up today with the compensation on work injury claims bill. So she's at least sticking to her agenda, right? Yes. The Speaker says, please direct this question to the Oversight Chair. What did Senator Rigel say?
The chairperson of the committee is responsible for completing committee reports. I am not the chairman of the committee that reported out the minimum wage bill, so I have no knowledge as to the timing of the committee report.
Are you aware of any FBI investigation into any member of your staff? From Speaker Munya Barnes, the answer is no. From Senator Regine Lee, the answer is no. Are you aware? Oh, I'm sorry, Senator Rigel.
Senator Rigel says, I am not aware of any such investigation.
Are you aware of any investigation into the conduct of Governor's Chief of Staff, Tony Babalta, regarding this matter? From Senator Lee, the answer is no.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Senator Rigel says, I'm not aware of any FBI investigation and have zero reason to believe any of my staff are under any FBI investigation.
And that's about the staff, right?
Yes.
About his staff.
Yeah.
Okay, now Speaker Barnes says no. What did the senator say about?
I am not aware of any such investigation.
Now the next question is because, well, if all of these people want to ask about Congressman Mike St. Nicholas and an extramarital affair, hey, fair is fucking fair. We're going to ask everyone else now. Have you ever had an extramarital affair? The Speaker said no. Let's see what Senator Regine Lee said. Hey, what's going on here? Oh, there. Senator Regine said no.
Senator Rigel says, No, but for the record, I believe these types of questions are personal and not questions the media should be concerned about. I believe the media should only be concerned with personal questions if they are somehow pertinent to the duties of an elected official. While elected officials are public officials, I believe they should be afforded some realm of privacy for matters that do not involve their duties as a public official.
Sounds about right. I would say word, brother.
Word to your mother.
Word. So these political operatives should learn something from Senator Clint Rigel. Have any of you ever spent campaign funds in the Philippines? Senator Lee says yes. Let's see what Speaker Barnes says. Come on, she said no.
Yeah.
Honest to God. They all do. Okay, never mind. We'll just trust what's said here. We'll verify it later. What did Senator Rigel say?
He said, no, I purchase all my campaign materials locally because I believe in buying local and supporting local.
Why did none of you offer any words of support to the congressman as the scandal was unfolding, considering you all are Democrats and so is he? The speaker says, as a woman, mother, grandmother, it would break my heart to see this happen to any one of my loved ones, whether they're the instigator or the victim. Based on my 15 years at the Public Defender's Office, I believe that every man is innocent until proven guilty. I pray that due process is afforded to Mr. St. Nicholas as well as the people of Guam. People of Guam are using their due process right now for sure and at the election. Senator Lee says, well, she says, I did yesterday. So Senator Lee reached out to Congressman St. Nicholas apparently.
She did?
That's what she said. She said, I did yesterday. So, well, maybe we can ask Congressman St. Nicholas' staff how that conversation went. What did Senator Rigel say?
Senator Rigel said, T business who? I mind my own business. This is the congressman's business. I don't involve myself with personal matters of other people, especially if it has anything to do with their relationships or marriages.
Good for you, Senator Rigel. Those are the kind of answers that, thank you.
I have more respect for him because he just afforded Candid News with respect. I felt like it really matters what the people of Guam think.
Yeah, I agree. I love his answers. And it's like he was lecturing the media, and he came from the media.
I know.
You know, so he's lecturing his fellow colleagues about professionalism in this business. I think that's the funniest thing that we're talking about, professionalism, based on the things that. Hi. Anyway, if any of you want to call in and have this conversation with us, you're welcome to 922-6397, 922 News. Let me go to our Facebook page so I can see what your comments are. I hate when it does this. Oh, there it is. Caritas LG says, indeed, he was raised right. Carl Fukuda says, I feel the same way he does. I think they're talking about Senator Rigel. He says, that tells you Clint is a normal guy just like you and I. David Camacho says, smart man.
David Camacho also says, I know one of them had an affair with a married.
David, are you calling Dawkins? You calling Dawkins, Chalu? How do I?
You have to open it, Troy. Press on it so it opens up like this.
Maybe I
go
there. Oh, okay. And then we can see the comments?
Yes, all of it.
Marissa Chan says, no mercy. Hey, Riz. Anthony Mendiola says, heck yeah, he came out today to scope out the parks at Liguan as promised. He took pictures, asked what were my concerns, and asked and offered to look into and see what he can do. Biba, Clint, Rigel. Charlie Alex says, hells yeah, Biba also to Senator Clint Rigel. Hi, Cousin Shell. Karita says our question should have been rephrased, not a direct did you, but were any campaign funds spent in the Philippines? I think the answer might be different. Oh, thank you. Thanks for that clarification. That you're right. We'll just resend the question.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when we called them to follow up on the emails, because Carita says, I can literally imagine those senators, with the exception of MT, Terlahi, or Moylan, sitting in one room answering those questions together. And when we called, they were in a meeting. And then they both came in, boom, right after the meeting.
Destiny Farnham. So David Camacho says cockroaches when light is turned on, and Destiny Farnham replies to him and says scatters and runs for cover. Rissa Delgado Castro, welcome back, sister, says the governor is definitely involved, my bet.
Mm-hmm.
God bless you, children. Donna Marie says those pics were hideous.
That's no filter.
Marissa Chan says, please don't replay those pics of Carlo. And then Karita Soji says, yes, no more. I need to get those images out of my head. Erasers. I didn't even see the pictures. That's from our team, right?
Our teams.
Rosalind and Michael Cruz say, cut it out, JPM. Oh my gosh. These comments are pretty real. Mm-hmm. We love you guys. We love you guys very much. Lynn Tidinko says, Biba, Senator Clint Rigel, Guam believes in you. Carl Fukuda says, San Nicolas Rigel, next administration. Hi, Lynn Tidinko, who says buenas to all of us. You have anything else?
No.
No. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Good night, Guam.